And welcome everybody to another episode, another week of the hottest new pro wrestling podcast and magazine. Magazine coming very soon. Southern Wrestling, Hot Topics, and News. I, of course, am joining you again. Cowboy Cliff Rogers here for another week. Yes, thank you, thank you. We also have, as always, the veteran of the group, Manu Soto. And then now, of course, okay, you done? All right. And now our guest, everybody, we talked about him on Facebook. We talked about him last week on the show. He's a great promoter, has a fine promotion in East Texas. We're going to hear all about it here in just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Derek Chancellor.
All right. Nice to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Man, I know how hard it is running a show and then getting done home, you know, at like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, depending on how far you live from where you're running, and then having to turn around and do something the next day. So thank you. I know you just ran last night. Thank you guys for, taking time out of your off day to come fool around with us on the internet. So,
No problem, man.
guys, if you look over here, I always have on the poster board some upcoming indie events. That's why Southern Wrestling Hot Topic and News exists. It's a brainchild of legendary James Beard. The magazine, we will have an October issue ready very soon. 2024, that's when this is airing right now. And of course, the podcast is something great that we wanted to go with it to put the spotlight on the worthy indie talent out there. So that being said, WWA ran a big show last night, man. The Carnival Carnage. Tell us about it.
Man, that show was awesome. It was great. The crowd popped all night long. I mean, they were hot, and man, they loved it, and they was wanting more and more and more. And several other things happened last night, and man, it was an awesome show. It was great.
Man, well, so Lufkin, of course, is where you were, you said, and
Yeah.
you know, that was the place you ran when I came in and worked for you. The Desperados, me and my partner, the gatekeeper, we came in and did man, look, you guys threw a curveball at us. We thought we were doing the classic tag team title match, and then you add one more team. We did a 2-on-2-on-2. We had never done anything like that.
We had a group that didn't show up. He apparently he got married and he got some stuff mixed up, and it was a huge curveball for us as well, man.
Well, you know, that's the name of the game. You adapt, and that was a great show. So when I heard that y'all show last night was also in Lufkin, I was like, oh, they're gonna have fun, man. And our guest from last week, one of Manu's newest rivals out there, I guess, ruthless Devontae Adams.
Ruthless.
He was in action, and he won himself a belt. Tell us about the belt he won.
Yes, he ended up winning the elite title last night, and man, the match was awesome, man. He went out there and did his thing, and Brady Brown was, he was a huge part of that. That's my GM, of course. He was out there, and he actually wanted to see, let Ruthless prove himself that, hey, look, dude, you could be a champion. You got what it takes, and I believe in him and everything. And I know him and Brady have, they have a little issue going on there, and I think it eventually probably get worked out. But for what it's worth, he became our new elite champion, and man, couldn't have put it on a better person.
No, I really don't think you could have. Now, of course, the competitor in me is like, well, but that's all kayfabe. Ruthless
And the
was.
veteran in me says, well,
You got to remember, man, you're talking to the two competitors here, man. But I love that for him. I always love it when one of my friends in the business. I mean, I make friends every show I go to, but one of my original friends, one of the guys, we were babies getting started learning how to do a quarter roll. So anytime one of the boys picks up some hardware, that's always fun. I'm getting ready to make a run for some myself, so hopefully there'll be a prop here on stage here in the coming months. But man, I know also at WWA, besides just bringing in good talent like Ruthless, when you do a show like that's just full of cage matches, you got to have talent that knows what they're doing. I mean, not just anybody can get in there and do a cage. So to have enough of a roster, and not just a permanent roster, but enough of a Rolodex, if you will, to pull in to do an all cage show, man, that says a lot about who y'all have coming in to work for you. You know, I mean, like I say,
Yes,
y'all don't
yeah.
have rookies. The rookies can't do a cage; they'll freeze.
Oh
You know?
no, no, they're man. I mean, these guys, they. I got in the locker room and I talked to them, and man, they were so fired up with the cage match. A lot of these guys that we had was their very first cage match,
Mm-hmm.
and that was very surprising. And man, they tore it up. They tore it up.
Man, you know, from what little bit I got to hang out with the guys and stuff, I know that they all have that competitive drive over there. That's why
Mhm.
WWA's fun, because everybody's in the back kind of calling their shots. So like, hey, I bet you I can do this. I bet you can't, you know. And it's all friendly, but man, it just really lights a fire in it. Manu, is that pretty much how y'all operated back in the day?
Uh, no, back in the day, Manu didn't ask any questions. Manu went out, plenty of cage matches, me, one man gang, Rod Price. And guess what? The heels called the match.
Yeah.
I don't care who the babies were, the heels called the match. You ever been in a captain's match, Cowboy? Derek?
Um,
Oh,
once.
One time.
try going on the road, being 19, 20 years old, green as Alcraft, and you're in Devastation Incorporated with Akbar, One Man Gang, Rod Price. We're going against Sam Houston and a couple of other guys. I'm the youngest, most inexperienced. They look at each other. They said, "Captain, Captain, okay, Manu, you're starting to go," and that was it. That's it. And
Like,
he called the match in the ring.
well, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
All in
a
the ring, nothing in the back. Maybe if you had an amazing referee like James Beard,
Uh
yeah,
huh.
that was the other part of it. That was the other peg in that little game right there. But other than that, the finish, that's all you did. Everything else called in the ring. And I love cage matches, barbed wire on the ropes, everything, tables. Hey, we
oh.
should do one, Cowboy. We should do one of those.
Man, I'm game. Come on. I mean,
All right,
in the words of another friend of mine, Rick Wildley, I got a closet full of spines. You know, it's all right. I can replace it.
let's go.
I got a
Let's go.
closet full of them. So,
You giving Derek ideas, man, for the next
Yeah.
show.
Yes.
oh God, I don't know if I want to go back over there
open,
now.
I
open,
would love.
open cage match.
I
Open
would love
cage
to.
match.
I would love to sit back and watch that.
That
I
would be
really
fun.
would.
Just an open challenge. I mean, hey, you might get
Open
somebody from
challenge
the
cage
crowd in
match.
there.
Bring it.
Hey,
Well,
hey, there you go.
I believe that last night was a collaboration show for you guys. Y'all were working with somebody or something, right?
Oh no, 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 no. This show was straight Warrior Wrestling Alliance.
Okay.
Um, what we do, we go out and do these fundraiser shows all over East Texas. I mean, they call us, we go.
Mm-hmm.
Veterans, project graduations, American Legions, VFWs, police departments, fire departments, you name it. We're there. You know, we're an organization that want to try to give back to the community, because you don't get that anymore like that these days. You know, everybody is kind of out for themselves. Nobody really focus on trying to give back and actually be a pillar of the community.
Mm.
And that's reason why I have this man right here, of course, in the background right here.
There he is.
He you know, he did that. And you know, I've learned up under him. Jason David Frank, may he rest in peace. His birthday just passed this past Wednesday.
Yeah, it
He
did.
turned 51. And I wanted to reopen Warrior Wrestling Alliance because we did close down in 2014. We ran for like 5 6 years. Had a death in the family. I shut down because he was helping me run it. And then all of a sudden, here I am again, started back up when I ended up getting Jason David Frank's ring. And I wanted to, you know, pretty much honor him because he traveled all over the world helping people out, helping businesses out through COVID and everything. And I wanted to honor him and keep his legacy going by Warrior Wrestling Alliance because he's like the godfather for us.
Oh,
And I want
absolutely.
to honor him not only as of who he was and who he is, but him being, you know, my sensei, my teacher and stuff. And I love him to death. He was a brother, he was a friend. And I just want to honor him and the guys in the back, including you, Cliff. You heard the story when you was there. You know, it's a passion, you know, for us. I know you guys. When I talk to you guys, I can see in y'all eyes, in y'all eyes, basically like, you know what? Yeah,
Mhm.
this is it, you
Yeah.
know. And when you step in that ring, we had previous Power Rangers, as you know, was in that ring training at Rising Sun Karate in Houston, and you could feel you could feel him in there. You
Mm.
could feel his presence, and man, it's just an overwhelming experience to be able to do it. So it's for a good cause what we're doing.
Well, I will say, you're right. As a Power Rangers kid growing up and stuff, when I heard that was his ring, I was like, really? And then I yeah, got there, I saw it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's about. I said, I can tell you that is not a wrestling ring because when I, fun fact, very briefly, when I was like 13, I dabbled a little bit in the world of boxing. I wasn't old enough to fight yet, but I boxed training, and did the
Hmm.
summer classes and stuff. So I'm very familiar with the boxing ring before I was with the wrestling ring. I was like, I said, yeah, that's for fighting. That ain't for working. That's for fighting right there. And so we got in it and moved around and pretty stiff, but you know what? It was you loved it. You didn't complain about it. You didn't be like, oh man, the ring's hard. You're like, oh, like this is why you do it. Of course, no one is just an idiot and lines up to get hurt. But what I mean is like, when you feel that stiffer bump and everything, and then you remember the guys and women that were competing in a different sport before you in that very ring, winning world championships in judo and karate and what have you, and that a guy that wasn't just a good actor and a good childhood superhero,
Hmm.
but a tough dude. I mean world class.
Yeah.
Jason David Frank in that ring. I mean, you walked away feeling like you just joined some kind of fraternity or something when your match was over. You're like, I'm in,
Basically, yeah,
I'm in the
yeah.
club, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
you're in there, man. You walked sacred grounds the way I look at it, you know.
I I actually text a friend of mine that I knew outside of wrestling that's a mega huge Power Rangers and JDF fanatic. He met him once or twice at a con and all. So I sent him a clip of the match and I was like, "You'll never guess whose ring that is." And he was like, Shut up." And then he actually got on YouTube and pulled up the clip from the Rangers movie and was like, "Is that it?" And I'm like, "That's it. That is it." I said,
Y-
"Different paint,
Yep,
different ropes. That's it."
yep,
So,
yep.
um, so Derek, tell us, how did you come to know JDF? How did that relationship get off the ground?
Man, I've been a martial artist ever since I was 6 years old. I'm 45 now, so you can pretty much guess
Oh,
how
that's a
long
long
I've
time.
been doing it. And I've actually watched him way before he even started to be a Power Ranger. Went to California, did some training down there, and ran into him. And of course, you know, we were over at Red Dragon, of course, and everything, and actually Chris Casamassa, all them down there, Luis Casamassa, they were down there, which Chris Casamassa basically is Scorpion in Sub Zero off of the '95 movie Mortal Kombat.
I
Oh,
was gonna say
okay.
Mortal Kombat. Yep.
Yes, so met him a couple of times. He ended up moving to Texas. I came back to Texas, of course, with my parents and stuff like that, and got with him. And I found out that he opened up Rising Sun Karate in Humble. So I was going down there, and I trained with him, several times, and throughout, the whole my career and everything else. And next thing you know, I kind of just went off on my own and started competing and training other places. And I would get in contact with him and ask him for advice and stuff like that. And I started competing, and man, I mean, I won 5 world championships. I just won the 2024 U.S. Open in Orlando, Florida, this past summer, and then I won again last year. I also compete for Wayne Wynn, which he's the White Ninja. You probably know this movie. He's the White Ninja off of Sidekicks with Chuck Norris, the
Oh my God.
1992 movie.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
Well,
was in that movie. Okay, yes.
You were in that
okay, so
movie?
you know Wayne. So you know Wayne Wynn, right? You
Oh
know
my
Wayne
gosh.
Wynn?
Yeah, because Chuck was in there. I remember, and Brandon,
Yeah,
the young kid. Yeah, I remember that. And
yeah,
Mako was the
yeah.
trainer. Yeah.
Well, Wayne Wynn, the White Ninja.
Yeah.
He runs TKO League in Houston. So I
Wow.
compete. Yeah, so I compete for him at the TKO League, and
Wow.
he's all over Texas, man, doing tournaments, and that's where I actually was competing at for like 5 years. So yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Ain't that wild how pro wrestling kind of just spider webs out and pulls these people together? That you would
Oh
have.
yeah.
We're doing a wrestling podcast. You were in a movie with his boss, essentially. Like, what's going on? That is crazy, man.
Yeah, it
That is
is.
amazing, man. Your resume, just your martial arts resume, is unbelievable. And not just I competed, I did this, I did this. Man, that's like Booker T. You're five-time world champion. You know what? That is at the top of your resume. That's all it's got to say, nothing else. But then you add everything, every component. A few minutes into this podcast, I can tell you're good hearted, you're a nice guy, and you're real. This is you. This is you. And what you're doing with this community, how you guys are giving back, because I don't know if you can see the tattoo, but I'm a Freemason.
Okay.
So FOP, BWF, everything else, the community service, that on top of the passion for the martial arts, on top of the passion for the wrestling, and how I can tell you conduct your shows and everything else, let me know. I can fly down and wrestle for your organization anytime, brother. You're the real deal. You're legit.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Cliff, I mean, the locker room, man, it's like when you walk in, even if you don't know anybody, you feel welcome. There's no locker room drama or anything like that. And I tell them, we're here for a reason. It ain't just wrestling by itself. We're here for a reason. We're here for to the community to have fun, to enjoy each other, and just get out there and just tear the house down and make these people like, man, God, I want to go back, and we don't never leave them empty or anything like that. We're always wanting them to want more and more and more and more and more. And that's the reason why I'm trying to run these shows. We're all over East Texas. We don't just stay in one spot. We're all over East Texas.
Well, and
All over.
that's huge for multiple people there because not only are y'all giving back to several communities at once and doing good for people outside of the business, but for people in the business, it's hard as a wrestler to get your name out there at first because you don't want to get comfortable in one spot. So
Mm-hmm.
by getting in good with a group or a promoter like yourself that you trust, but y'all aren't tethered to one spot, that makes it so much easier to put places on your resume, to put names on your resume, but you don't have to deal with 4, 5, 6 different promoters. It's one guy, and be
Exactly.
like, hey, this is
Yeah.
where we're going, this is where we're going. And, kind of like, back in the day, people my age, just through overinflated stories and other podcasts similar to this one and stuff of people getting on there and, you know, changing stories around with age and stuff. We kind of have this false pretense of like, oh yeah, man, back in the day they just load up in the bus and go forever and it was just one guy and they were, NWA, they paid for everything. And I'm like, well, I thought that too. And then I get to talking to my trainer, Danny Davis, Dapper Dan,
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Manu, who was with DAP. So, I mean, he can tell you right there, and they were like,
Yeah.
what do you mean they paid for, what do you mean? And I'm like, man, I watched y'all's old Global tapes. Y'all were in these huge buildings, and then, Global, not talking about them specifically, but like some of the other, man, y'all were in these huge buildings. And he goes, dude, that was a shack in such and such Texas, and we only ran there, and we ran there every Saturday. I'm like, oh, y'all weren't like styling, profiling? He's like, in the promo we were. I mean, you know, you'd go put on a different suit and look like it was a different day. But no, I was like, oh my God, it's all the same. We're doing that right now, you know. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's really cool to see that, you know, once you get in it and find out how it was back then, how it is today at the top level, and then you take a small promotion or an indie, and then you compare it to the industry leader, that being the WWE or them AEW fools. Not a fan, but you compare it to the industry leader, and then you know you don't compare
Say what
money.
you feel. Just let it out. Just say it.
I
Go ahead.
look, man. I had a long night at PWF last night. I got some things to say.
Well, welcome to the world of professional wrestling, brother.
Right.
Yeah,
One gig, hit the road,
yeah,
go. 3 days later, you're like, okay, where are we at tonight? Because you better remember that when you go out and do your promo.
that's it. That's it. But you know,
Yeah.
you can't compare the dollars and cents. You know that's not fair. But you compare what you do and how you do it, and then you scale it down. And man, you guys are like Manu said, you're kind of setting an example of kind of what an indie should do. You know, we're not going to rake in thousands and thousands of dollars on a TV deal. We'd love to,
Oh yeah.
but you know, our best bet is to make enough money to grow, to put into the community, to continue building fans, and of course to pay the boys. That way the boys can grow, buy new gear, buy plane
Oh
tickets
yeah.
to go to other places. You know, I always respect promoters like mine and yourself that always say, well, you know, we're not going to profit on this show. I'm like, what do you mean? Look at all this money. Like, well, I got to pay the boys. I'm like, yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
do. Yeah, you do. Because there's plenty of them out there that just won't. I mean, I've had one in Arkansas tell me, well, we didn't do good at the door. I'm like, well, how's that my fault? I mean, you just told me I had match of the night, but yet I'm not getting paid because you didn't promote, you know. So you got to watch
Right.
people like that. Um,
Right. That's one of the coolest things about moving around. It's always fresh, you know. And like I said, we've been Lufkin, Corrigan. I know you probably don't know these areas, but Lufkin, Corrigan.
oh, I know.
We've been okay, Palestine. We got one in Center, Alto. I mean, we're all over, and I'm constantly getting phone calls like, "Hey, we need you to come wrestle here. We supposed to have one in Tyler." And I'm like, okay, give me the details, let me know what we're doing, and we can work something out and we'll try to be there. You know, and it's like with these guys that we bring in, you know, we don't like to just bring guys in and just say, okay, you're gonna wrestle this guy and that's it. We when we bring you in, that means we have something for you. We
Yeah,
want to put you in a storyline. We want you to know that you mean something to us. So we're gonna put you in a storyline and carry you on instead of just saying, okay, you're gonna wrestle that guy and hey man, you had a good match, appreciate it, thanks for coming, and then bye, you're out the door.
yeah,
You know, we want you to feel important that you're a part of us, you know, and we value you. That's why we want to put you in storylines and keep it going and keep it going and keep it going. That way you guys can be like, man, God, man, I'm in this cool storyline. I got this going on, I got that going on. And we're always up for you guys to come to us and be like, hey man, what do you think about this? And we were like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Yeah, cool. Instead of being one of those promoters like, no, no, you're not doing that. I want you to do this. Because I've actually been the promoters that actually do that. And I do exactly what they say. If they want me to do this, I'm going to do it. But if I come up with something like, hey, man, what you think about this? I mean, you don't have to go with it, but I'm cool with what you want to do. But what you think about this? Because I always want to level up to make it even better. You know, and that's helping the promoter. It ain't helping me. It's helping the promoter. So you know, it's challenging at times, but hey, man, we get through it. You know, we get through it. But we just want to value the guys that come wrestle for us because without you guys, without you, Cliff, without you, you know, we wouldn't be able to do this stuff, man.
man, we appreciate that absolutely, and
Tell you what, Derek, I've been doing this. I don't mean to cut you off, Cowboy. Derek, I've been doing this since 1989. I started with Ivan Putski's WWA Western Wrestling Alliance in Houston, Texas.
Uh huh.
I can count on 3 fingers how many times I've ever heard a promoter or anybody say what you just said, because it's always the norm. All right, come in, this, boom, thank you, handshake, hey, you grab a hot dog and a drink, thank you. All right, how was the match? What was? Oh, well, yeah, it was good. It was good. You know what? That's the difference between back then and now, because that was the norm back then. Come in. All right, what am I doing with this guy? What's the storyline? Oh, no, no, no. We just thought you guys look good in the ring together. Let's go ahead and do this. There's no storyline. The way you're thinking, the way you're presenting it, man, that's a promotion anybody will drive. Any of the boys will drive to get to you, and I guarantee you, they will make it there no matter what. That's a promotion. So hats off to you, sir,
Thanks. Thank you.
for,
Thank
for
you.
the way you are running your organization.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. Thanks. Really appreciate it.
The prestigious Manu with a rare compliment right there, everybody. Yeah, hope y'all had your
I gave you
phones.
a compliment last week. I said you were pretty.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if that was real or
All
not.
right,
All right,
thank you. All right.
thank you, thank you. What? Hey, man, I've always thought this before I was a worker myself and just some Texas guy that loved wrestling. I'd sit up and try to find some indies and stuff, but just to see what else was going on besides WWE. And of course, you know that with when it comes to major network television, there's things you just can't do. So I always loved the indies because it was like, yeah, let's see the unbridled, let's see what it looks like without USA Network coming at you like this. So when you when you take an indie and you put that effort into the story like that, that's what fans love right there. Is they love having something not far from them, not expensive to go to, that they can follow those guys, and then they can go find them on social media. And I told
Mm-hmm.
Ruthless this last week. I take a lot of effort into it myself, but you might just have a phone, but man, dress up your room, do what you're doing right now. Go get in the trophy room, make it look promo worthy. If you don't tell your story in the year 2024, where we all have a computer in our pocket, if you don't tell your story, nobody's gonna. So by taking the indies and just say, you very well, you and every other promotion out there could just say, well, we're small town, and these folks don't ever get wrestling around here, so they're just happy to see some bumps. Well, you could do that, but by staying up a little later and writing some stuff down, and oh man, that keeps those fans saying, oh, we might go to, we gotta go. you know so that's the
Yeah.
switch. That's the difference maker right there. uh,
Yeah. Actually, getting a lot of help through Kevin Rhodes. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with him.
yeah,
Uh,
I've heard the name. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a part of the Rhodes family with
Mm-hmm.
Cody, Dustin, and all them. He actually had a promotion up there in Florida, and I actually got with him and went to his house. We got to talking, and man, he gave me some great ideas. He's actually been helping me through all of this stuff and getting me to understand about the whole promotion business and stuff like that, because he had guys that wrestled for him like La Parca and all these guys back in the WCW world, and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, I've been in wrestling for a long time, and I've actually did go train for WCW before they went belly up. And I never knew. I was young and everything else, still trying to learn, and I'm still learning till this day. And man, he's been very, very helpful along with this on, the Warrior Wrestling Alliance. Might as well say committee, so to speak. He's
Mm-hmm.
been my advisor, helping me out with all this stuff, and I want to tip my hat off to him because he's been very, very helpful, very, very helpful, man.
That's awesome, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that was going to be where I was going here next, was digging into your wrestling past, and we'll do that here in just a second after this
Uh,
sponsored break. And we're back, everybody. That was another quick commercial break there. You know, we like to get fancy here. That was promoting the upcoming WWA Halloween show. Going to be going on this October on the 14th. Looking like
Yes.
it's going to be a good one. Halloween shows are always a lot of fun. Halloween's a fun time, you know, so you throw
Oh
some
yeah.
wrestling in there, and it's just the icing on the cake. You know, I always love those kind of shows.
Oh yeah.
Especially when you can just cosplay, do something completely outside of the gimmick, and just chalk it up to, it's Halloween. You know, you feel
Yeah,
like
have
being a
fun
Power
with it,
Ranger. Just come on out there.
Hey, I got a suit for you if you need it.
Hey, yeah, I might. Hey, I just might. You know, I always thought there should have been a Ranger with a cowboy hat. That would have been watch
But wait a
worthy.
minute, is that pink suit? Is that the
Cow-
pink
cow-
Ranger suit you're gonna let him wear?
the Cowboy Ranger. Hell yeah.
In the
The
pink
pink,
suit.
the pink one, right? Okay, yeah, the pink one. All right, that's good.
I'll wear it with pride. Yes.
There you go.
Well, Derek, we were saying right before we cut off, man. I wanted to get into how did a multi-time, five-time, if you will, martial arts champion come to get into the wild, crazy west of pro wrestling? Tell us about that.
Oh man. Actually it was my senior year of high school. I was sitting there and I was going through those Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazines that they used to have. And I was like, man, uh I had a relative that wrestled, and Ice Train, and I was like, God, man, I think I might want to try to get in it. And I said, well, yeah, I'm gonna try it out. So I actually just got in there. Got with a guy named Randy Cruz. He used to wrestle for the promotion in California, Hayward, California, and got with him. He come, I guess he moved to Texas for a while and everything else, and he started training me. And it just kind of fit like a glove. It's sort of like with the karate, and everything. And I was like, man, I like this. And then next thing you know, I ended up getting with the Fire Jeremy Young. I went to Texas Championship Wrestling in Dallas and was wrestling down there. So man, it just went, and next thing you know, I was wrestling. I had a promotion open that was TRW. I was wrestling for them, and then of course I was going to League Alliance and East Texas Wrestling, and it just kind of went, for a
Mm-hmm.
while. And then after that, I was like, you know what, I think it's about that time for me to get out. So I ended up retiring in 2014.
Okay, so a pretty solid run there. It sounds like, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
some great spots you hit up. Texas has always been a hotbed for wrestling, so no shortage of places to go. Some way
Oh no,
better than
no, no.
others.
It was several ACW. I went to Deep East Texas Wrestling. That was another promotion that used to run here in Lufkin. Uh, like I said, League Alliance. I've been quite a bit places.
So one of those mentors, one of those guys you mentioned there, you said the Fire Jeremy Young. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Oh, JY.
Yeah.
I call him Uncle JY. He's, I gotta tell you, I gotta tip my hat. Not all the way though.
Uh,
Me and him have some history there in the ring, and I will say he's a great worker, great technical mind. He's what we all in the business call a shooter. He'll get in there and shoot on you, not to hurt you, but just when he comes in there to grab that leg, he's grabbing that leg, man. We're going to the
oh
to
yeah.
the 4A state championships. We're not in a wrestling match, right? So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. I wrestled against him one show, and he was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna put my finisher on." I was like, "All right, cool. What you got?" And he told me, and he went to pick me up, and I'm a basketball player, so I can jump. So I guess I over jumped, but it turned out awesome. It was like he killed me in the ring, and people was like, "Dude, y'all might need to go check on him," But I was fine. Everything was good.
well, so my thing with Jeremy is, I do respect the guy. He's had a long career, and he was trained by the legendary Doctor Death, Steve
Dr.
Williams.
Dale, Steve Williams.
So
Yeah.
that's not a nobody. He definitely knows what he's doing. So I had a series of matches with him at in UWE and at some matches that he had produced in Shreveport. We fought a few times at a brewery in Shreveport, the Great Raft. We fought a few times at Danny Davis's promotion, United Wrestling Entertainment (UWE), and each time I got to know him a little better because when I first wrestled him, I was pretty green. I was like maybe a year and a half in. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, just let him drive. He's going to take care of you. Just let him. And then, you watch the match back, you find what went wrong. And then after that second or third time, you're like, all right, Jeremy, how about we try it my way? And then you can start communicating. And I think that's important for all younger guys out there to know is when you're working a vet, yeah, respect them, let them lay it down. But then once you work with them again and again, they like that back and forth. And when two halves of the same coin work together, our last match together we've had so far, me and Jeremy Young, that turned out exceptional
Oh
because
yeah.
we were both just letting the other do our thing, And if one was getting out of hand, which I love him to death, but he can be pretty scatterbrained sometime, man. You in there trying to go over something with him, and well, what you say? What we can do is, we can just flip over him. I'm like, Jeremy, what? Like, so, but
Yeah, it was like that when I went against Keith Lee. Uh,
Oh
man, they were
God.
like, hey, yeah, I was like, hey, they were like, hey, you got to wrestle this guy here, and I look over, he's like, hey, what's up? I was like, oh.
sup,
Yeah.
man. I couldn't imagine just like having that dumped on you. I'm up for any challenge, but then when it's just like a 2 second notice, who? Like, all right, hold on, I'm not stretched yet. I gotta go size this.
Man,
Who
I'm
was that
trying to tell
for?
you, you can keep your pay. You can keep your pay, man. I don't want it.
What promotion was that for?
Huh?
What promotion was that for?
DP's Texas Wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, they had Bubba Dumpling, God, Pork Chop, Just Willie, all those guys. Ryan Genesis, all them.
Okay.
Remember them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember Ryan Genesis for sure. The other guys I've heard of them and stuff. But um, that was right there was when Keith Lee was kind of about to get called up. That's when a lot of big things were going on in the Texas scene.
Hmm.
I've shared a locker room with Adam Asher, APOC. I've
Oh, okay.
wrestled him once, or no, I've tagged with him once in a multi-man match, but I've shared a locker room with him several shows, and he'd tell us all about a young Keith Lee, and then I'd just be like, oh wow, I didn't know he was that close to here. Watching him on NXT, I didn't know he was just a Texas guy. But then I'd hear about who else was in the locker rooms, and I'd hear about what else happened at those same shows. I'm like, man, that was a peak season. No, those were some peak years right there.
Hmm.
When Keith was a regular down there in Texas and hadn't quite been picked up yet. That's yeah. So it sounds like you not only were doing it, but you were doing it with some quality guys and not sticking out like a sore thumb. That says a lot.
Yeah, I felt sometimes I felt that way, man. I really did. I wasn't at that point in my career like they were.
Yeah.
And there was times I got nervous, like, man, I hope I don't screw this match up for them.
Yeah.
But it turned out great, man. It turned out good.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, so mystery solved, and it's just what I thought. I was thinking, like, how does a martial artist become a wrestler? And I'm like, oh, that's because he was always a fan. That's how it always is. You're in high school, and that's how I started. I wanted to do it right out of high school. There was just nowhere to go, and had to,
Yeah.
get on with career paths and stuff like that. And then later in life, I found the chance, But yeah, I think all of us. Manu, you said that you turned down a scholarship to be a wrestler.
Oh wow.
I turned down 6 scholarships, not just one.
Oh Lord, every
But
parent's worst
so
nightmare.
yeah, hey, it paid off. So Derek, let me ask, how hard was it with your martial arts background? Because I know when after wrestling for so many years and then wrestling for NWA, North Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, for 3 years, I went and did some unsanctioned underground UFC and MMA matches. I have an MMA background, and to come back to wrestling, I had to beg to come back to wrestling. They said, no, 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 no. you've been doing that real stuff. You're not going to be able to hold back. How
Mm-hmm.
hard was it for you? You already came in
Mm-hmm.
established in the MMA in the karate world. You already came in
Mm-hmm.
established. How difficult was that? Did they ever wonder, okay, if this guy goes off, like he's the real deal, you know? Did that ever even come up?
No, that never came up. Surprisingly, that really never came up.
Really?
No, not at all. I had one guy. He come up. He said, "Man, I don't know if I want to wrestle against you. I might accidentally pop you. You might go off, man. I heard you won like 80 something championships," and I was like 82. And yeah, altogether 82. But I was like, "No, man, you're cool. You're cool. I know how to with the karate stuff. I know how to keep all that stuff under control.
Got it.
It's a lot of all that good stuff. The integrity and all that kind of stuff. The martial way, basically, what it boils down to.
Right. Right.
And I know that accidents do happen in the ring all the time, and sometimes a guy might be like, "I'm sorry, I stiffed you, dude." No, you're good. I like it stiff.
Right.
Yeah.
Bring it. And the stiffer you are, the harder I'm going to work. That's just the way I am. So no, I never really had that problem.
Good,
We
good, good. Martial arts background. What are you what's your belts in, and what disciplines?
Whew. Well,
Is it you want to save that for a second and third podcast? I mean, is the list that long?
no, you're fine. Kyokushin karate. I've been doing that. Got a black belt in that. Rough, very rough karate, man. It's crazy. Got my 8th degree in that. I got my 5th degree in Shotokan karate. Black belt in that. So I got several. I got like 4 black belts. And then I got a black belt in American karate. I did a little bit of Toto Kundo with Jason David Frank. And then what I did, of course, with the boxing and then the kickboxing I did for a little bit, and then the judo and jujitsu. All I did was, including wrestling, you'd be surprised. I added that into the stuff that I know and everything, and all I did was just merged all that together, and I came out with my own brand of karate, my hybrid, which is Hogosha karate, which is in Japanese. In Japanese, it means guardian protector. Well, guardian angel and protector. That's basically what it means. So that's what I did, and man, it works. It works.
Wow.
I've had plenty of students that trained up under me. They all of them do very well at karate tournaments. Actually, one of my students became a 3-time state champion. My fiance, her son, he became a 3-time world champion. He's only a green belt,
mm.
and he's already tied the record for board breaking. He broke, I think, with his hand. I'm not with his hand, with his foot. He broke 17 boards. And then with his hand, he tried to break the record. I think it was like 15 boards with his hand, and he got picked up by Master Larry Fields, he's a 56-time world champion. He's been on the Jay Leno show and a couple of other talk shows and stuff like that back in the day. He picked him up with a team called Elite Breakers. So
okay.
yeah, so man, my students they're doing great. Is some of them a little hard headed, but yeah, man, at a very young age and a very young uh, age at their colors of their belts and stuff, man, they're doing stuff that most black belts can't even do.
I was gonna say it sounds like it because I used to crack up laughing because people would back in the day, especially when I was taking karate, people would put so much. My family's military, so my dad was a Navy SEAL. He had karate. My mother had karate from Hawaii, but people put so much emphasis on the belts, the belts, the belts, but they know nothing to go along with the belt at that level.
Yeah,
So that was the other thing.
you make the belt.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I'm sure Cowboys got several black belts. Was it Walmart, Marshalls, and Target?
The leather ones. I like the leather ones.
Okay. So Urban Outfitters, you like the cowboy places? Okay.
That's it. That's it. That is
Wow, impressive. I knew with the martial arts, I was like, okay, there's got to be multi disciplines there, and I almost guaranteed you already had school you were running and everything else. That on top of the wrestling, on top of the community service, on top of just man, an amazing journey, and you're just getting started.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
Ooh.
never stop, man. Never stop. Always keep going.
I don't know,
Always keep going.
man. I saw you get in the ring that WWA show I was on. We were in Lufkin, and this man claims to be retired. He is, but he got in the ring for an opening promo and starts telling some heel about all his championships, and I could just see it. I could see the trigger finger, shaking. I'm like, he's thinking
Oh yeah.
about it. He's thinking about maybe one more, huh?
The smoke is coming from the dragon's nose. He just hadn't opened his eyes yet.
Uh-huh. You never
Yeah.
really done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cliff, nobody retires in this business.
Look at Ric Flair.
You may take a break. Nobody retires.
In Rick's case, it was a very long, long break, and he never really quit.
Nope.
I was talking to Dapper Danny Davis, the other day at the wrestling school, and he was saying, yeah, I'm thinking maybe mid 2025, this old boy's gonna be done. I'm like, yeah, well, you said that about mid 2024 last year, or in 23, and
2023.
he's like,
Yeah.
I did? I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, I probably did. I'm like, mm-hmm. I said, so we're just delaying another year is all we're doing. So, but I mean, I could imagine how hard it is, man, when you hands on running a show and then you're seeing these guys doing it and you're like, oh, I got my gear in the car. Yeah. Can one of y'all come run this camera or pay the guys for me? I'll be right back. Let me go put it on. So,
Yeah. Well, actually, I wrestle in November.
okay. Excellent. Where at?
Yeah, I wrestle in November. That storyline we got going on with the guy that you've seen, we're gonna finish it off. It's gonna be my son, which is one of the things that's probably gonna I'm like, you know what? I'm done now because I back in the day, my mom was my tag team champ. Actually not was my tag team. I'm sorry. She was my tag team partner at a show, and man, it was the watch your mom body slam someone
That's insane.
suplex someone. I'm like, no wonder I'm afraid of my
Yeah.
mom. She's very stout. She's very strong. She was played baseball in college, so she still has those big forearms, man.
Mm.
And that was one of my things. I got a big, huge picture of me, her, and I holding up our hands when we won that match. Very memorable to me. And now I have my son.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I mean, I don't know if you have a kid, a son, or anything like that, guys, but when you have a son, you be like, man, that'd be awesome if we can actually do just one match together, And
Yeah.
my son's he's so excited. He's like, Dad, I want to do it, and I'm like, okay. So we got that match coming up, and that's going to be one of those memorable things that I could always take to my grave with me, with my son that him and I shared and stuff like that. So it's a very special moment.
That is
Nice.
really awesome.
How old's your son?
My son is 12 years old, and he's taller than me, and I'm 5'11".
What's
Nice,
going
nice.
on in the Texas
Huh?
genetic pool over there?
Hey,
Yeah.
those are Texas genes, cowboy. Come on.
I know. I mean, I'm only 6'1". I didn't get a whole lot of them. I mean, man, that's insane. That is special. Anytime you get to see a father-son duo. I actually just wrestled one last night. Me and the gatekeeper were over at Premier Wrestling Federation and the Houston Premier Arena. We've been hyping that show up. It's a great company we've been wanting to go be a part of. We were on the stream and everything, and the Bulldogs were the team we were facing. Justin Bulldog Walker, he's about a 30-something-year-old veteran, or not 30-something-year-old, but 30-something-year vet. There we go. Yeah, 30-something-year veteran that's been in the game a while, and his son Justin Jr. is about my age, and big old boys, man, big old boys. Bulldog kind of has the body of he. Imagine kind of like George the Animal Steel if he was like
Hmm.
way more beefy, you know,
Oh.
if there was some more beef under the skin, you know. But same, you know. Oh God, Bulldog's gonna watch this and come find me, man. But uh, we we
Talking
got
about
in there and tore it
Yeah,
up.
beef under the skin, huh? Come here, dude, talk to you.
talking about his beefy kid.
he uh, he uh he got in there with his kid, man, and you talk about just they didn't have to think. They would, I mean, he would look at him and be like, "Hey, come on," but they already know what their stuff is. They know the pattern. They've done it 100 times together. So you know, any tag team that gets a chance to fight a father son that you know, not just in you guys' case, but in a case of if they've been an actual product for years, you know, holding belts together and stuff, that's always a learning tree to sit under because you're going to be like, man, I thought we had our stuff figured out, but these guys are sharing a brain, you know. And
Hmm.
and it was also pretty funny to see when you know, Justin Jr. he'd go for something, I'd counter, hit that big cowboy suplex, boom, and his dad's over there going, "Come on, Jr." And I'm like, "Oh, this is going to continue in the car ride. I know they're going to be at Whataburger like, why'd you let that boy pick you up like that? You are you are double his size, son. Why did you do that?" I was like, I know this is gonna finish up at the house. Yeah, but they were fun. They were a great team and Texas staples. I'll say that they are definitely a Texas staple. It was definitely a merit badge for me and my tag team partner to get to say that we got to do something with them. And hey, man, who knows? You know, you might get some more gas in the tank, and then when your son's 15, 16, and by that time he'll be what, a 4 or 5 year veteran. I mean, let's get you guys and the Desperados together. Let's get something going. Let's get some polish on him first, you know, and then we'll main
Oh yeah.
event it. We'll main event it in a cage.
All right, I hear you.
Well, tell us what's next for WWA going forward. What do y'all have coming up?
Uh, well, the next thing, I mean, like I said, it's still growing. It's been a godsend. All this, I mean, we've only been, we hadn't even went fully a year yet. We started last Veterans Day last year actually, and man, it's just been show after show after show after show, and you know, I've been very blessed to meet new guys like such as you and everything, and it's like I said, man, it's just a godsend for us to continue to grow and plan for 2025. You know, we're working on that right now. We're talking about trying to have a show every month, you know, and sometimes twice a month, every month. So
That's
it's getting crazy, 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 and it's growing. We're getting huge followers and stuff like that. Matter of fact, my friend, his son actually got drafted to the NFL. He plays for the Saints.
oh wow.
Eric McCoy.
Okay, well, I'm a Saints
So
guy, so
he,
there we go.
yeah, so he's even talking about coming and making some shows after the season's over with.
Oh
You
man,
know, and he's him and his dad, they're on board, man. They're going to be giving us shout outs with different teams and stuff like that. So we're looking forward to that to try to get us out there even more.
let me tell you something about New Orleans fans. It's almost like a cult like following, even if they're not
Ooh,
doing good. So
Hmm.
if you put that man on a poster, you're probably going to get at least 25 people traveling in, and that's on a low estimate. 25 butts and seats, and it might go up. You know, I know my sister's a Houdat person. She lives in New Orleans. She'll be there. Yeah, so that's huge, man. That y'all are making connections like that with big
Oh yeah.
entities like the
Oh yeah, man.
NFL.
Like I said, it's a godsend. We're getting all these, you know, different people. Me meeting Kevin. I didn't even know. All I know is I got somebody on Facebook and said Kevin Rose. I'm like, who is this? You know, and he's like, hey, I'm part of the Rose family. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, actually,
And
we were talking about that off tape. Yeah, that's huge for WWA. There is y'all actually have a Rhodes in on the board, if you will. Now, of
hmm
course, it's not Cody or Dustin. So yeah, all you folks listening, don't take that
yeah,
out
no,
of context there. But
no, no.
man, that's I've always said good indies have somebody from the big leagues that used to be there or knows somebody in that's running you inside. For UWE, that person is James Beard.
Uh-huh.
And for you guys, I know there's another good one out there that I've worked for once before called Diamond Championship Wrestling. They have one of the Armstrongs, Scott Armstrong, running their controls in the back, if you will. So it looks like WWA runs on Rhodes power, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there
Oh
we
yeah.
go.
Man,
So,
all that horsepower, bro. It's all in there, man. And like I said, he gets with me. We go to his house, we get to talking, get to chit chatting, and next thing you know, we done talk for like 3 or 4 hours.
yeah,
So yeah, man, he's been a huge inspiration on this too. He's trying to help us out and get us out there because he ran some promotions in Florida, with all the greats, man, and he got stories that you wouldn't believe. And man, he's a great guy. He's very helpful, and man, like I said, we're very blessed to have him.
absolutely. That's always a big help on any scene if you can get some outside edge like that. What's some big names that y'all brought in? Tell the fans here. What's some big guys maybe from TV or some bigger places that WWA's been able to bring in the past?
Well, since we started, we're trying to work that. We had a Franco Varga, of course. You there at
Oh
that
yeah.
show?
I like to throw some jabs. I kept on saying, "Oh, what's up, Savio Vega?" I mean, Franco Varga. I'm sorry.
Did he
he,
give you that look?
he was a good sport about it, but I was playing with fire. He's a big guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a cool guy, man. But he's something else, I'll tell you.
And then maybe in the future, who's some people that you'd like to rope in that from some bigger stages?
Man, honestly and truthfully, to be honest, I could not tell you, man. Our doors, like I said, our door is always open for anyone, man, anyone, including you up there, including you.
Look at him right there. Oh, hello. The hat is on.
Uh-oh. Oh yeah, I got you. I got you.
Well, look, man. Look, let me tell you. The engine's back on. It was dormant for a long time, but his comeback match was back in July. He rocked it, and now he's got the bug again, man. I think Manu might need to come down to Lufkin.
I don't
Bug,
know.
that bug never left, man. I was out of the ring for 19 years, stepped right back in. 19 years.
And man, you
Okay.
talk about smooth work. I mean, it looked like I was watching. I mean, albeit he's not quite as big as his global days. He's shed some pounds over the years, but
Yeah, I've gone from 425 down to 250.
yeah, he's just
Oh,
lost a little
cool.
bit. But
Cool.
man,
Hey,
Just as pretty and handsome as I was back in '89. When I was just a young kid right out of high school. I remember like yesterday.
okay, all right.
Anyway,
That's enough of you.
hey, we got you, man. We got you.
There it is. Hey,
We got you.
now
I've
you
been
can
all over
finally
that
fight
territory.
Ruthless. You can finally fight Ruthless. You've been picking on him for I don't know years now. Now there's a reason.
2 years.
Uh-oh.
I met him for 2 years. But look, how are you supposed to bring the step stool into the ring so he can be eye to eye with me? How's that
Okay.
going to work?
See,
How's that going to work?
we're
How's that
already
going to work?
we're already doing this.
Told you.
Yeah,
You don't ask. You ask for Manu.
it's
You ask for
already
Manu,
thick.
you get Manu.
It's already thick.
No,
Uh-oh.
it's going to be real thick, especially when I take that belt from him. It's going to be real thick.
Okay, okay. Hey, I like that. I like the energy. I like the energy.
Well, Manu, Derek, guys, anything to say in the closing moments?
Man, I really appreciate you, Cowboy Man Cliff, bringing me on. And man, like I said, thanks for putting us out there. Like I said, that's another godsend on our behalf. I mean, on your behalf. I'm sorry about that. So we really appreciate you guys. We appreciate you, Manu. Getting in there. We're gonna figure out something with you and Ruthless, man.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Bring it.
I think we
It's a
just
handicap match. Tall, David versus Goliath, whatever. We got it.
all right.
Okay.
Look
Okay.
at that. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, and thank all of you for watching another great episode. Be looking for the magazine to hit in October, and we'll see you soon.